All right, welcome back everyone to my mini series of opening a pack of Chaos Rising in Spanish and drawing my very own convergent or regional variant of a Pokemon that I pull from the pack. So you guys saw what I drew last time. If you didn't, I'll maybe put it in the eye up there, or I'll just put it in the description or something so you guys can see that. Something else that's really fun is the English packs with their code card, I will show you, have a green border, and the Spanish ones have a pink border. I really like the pink border. But there you go. I'm going to guess lightning energy for this one. Psychic. Oh, another psychic energy. All right, so we have the basic psychic energy. Ooh, we have a Flaaffy. Okay, so I did mention in my first video, I had a Pokemon in mind that I wanted to draw a Paldean version of, and it was the Flaaffy line. The Mareep, Flaaffy, Ampharos line, one of my favorite electric types, or electric type lines. So I'm actually really pumped. I'm just gonna put it out there right now. I'm drawing a variant of the Flaaffy line. We have a Kakuna, a Remoraid. Oh my god, oh wait, I didn't even see it, but literally Remoraid and Octillery was another one that I had an idea for. Great concepts. Maybe I will revisit the idea in the future. Who knows? Maybe I'll become a Fakemon channel and I'll just start drawing a bunch of Fakemons that I want to see. Maybe I'll draw one based off of my own region, Canada. We have another Matsiah card. Nice, we got a Ho-Oh. Love meself a good Ho-Oh. Ooh, Nitro energy. And we are ending on, ooh, a Crocodile EX. So yeah, as you guys saw, I hope you guys enjoy this Flaaffy rendition that I will present to you guys. Smooth transition over to the first stage of Flaaffy's evolutionary line. We will be looking at Mareep. So, in doing some research to better understand the Pokemon and to also maybe even give me some ideas of themes or ideas to go with for Mareep, I always look at the name of the Pokemon first. Now, Mareep comes from two particles, the first being Mary and the second being sheep. Mary comes from the nursery rhyme, Mary Had a Little Lamb. And the second sheep is because, well, that's the Pokemon, or sorry, the animal that Mareep is based off of. I will often look at the Pokédex entries too to give me ideas, and Mareep's was literally gold. Now, looking at its crystal Pokédex entry, I believe it's the only entry that says anything different compared to all the generations that Mareep has been in. And it goes as follows. It stores lots of air in its soft fur, allowing it to stay cool in summer and warm in winter. Now that Pokédex entry gave me exactly what I needed, which is that it stores air inside its wool. I essentially just ran with that idea and ran with the whole cloud concept for Mareep's evolutionary line. So as you can see in the concept drawing, I was trying a few different horns, I was trying a few different wool hairstyles, and I think the one that I settled on was pretty cool. I also thought about giving it like Kirin horns. I'm really enjoying One Piece right now, and there's one character that has like a rare devil fruit, which is based off of the Kirin, which is like a Chinese mythological creature. I believe that it was based off of the Chinese seeing giraffes for the first time. I could be completely wrong. But basically, it's like this hooved chimera from East Asian folklore, and it's a pretty cool monster or creature, I guess you could say. Look it up, it's awesome. Now, drawing the final concept of Paldean Mareep, I decided to go with something that was a bit large, unkempt, just to really go along with that Pokédex entry of Mareep being able to store air within its wool, which in this case helps it fly. I also really wanted the design to show that there was no real direction with the clouds. It's kind of just a big poof ball. So you can imagine at this stage in its evolutionary line, it doesn't really know how to fly that well. Now, without further ado, I present to you Paldean Mareep. When Mareep first arrived from Johto, the hot climate drove this Pokemon to climb tall mountains to cool down. Over time, their coats stopped shedding as often, and the trapped air allowed them to take flight. Paldean Mareep will be a pure flying type. It'll be the Cloud Pokemon. Its main ability will be Fur Coat, with a hidden ability, Aerolate. It'll weigh less and be shorter than its Jotonian Mareep counterpart, just to help bolster the idea that, hey, maybe this thing can fly. As for its stats, I really went and balanced the stats a little more. I gave it more attack, and I gave it more attack for a specific reason. In future evolutions, the horns will be a bigger staple, I guess you could say. And as for the shiny, I decided to harken back to Jotonian Mareep, where its skin is blue, and I decided to make the horns a nice bright yellow that kind of looks like gold. I really wanted it to show off the fact that, hey, this was an electric type at some point. Moving on to its evolution, Flaaffy, I decided to keep the name because it doesn't have any connections to it being an electric type, so I figured I could keep it because the name origin derived from the particles fluffy and ba, as I said, don't really represent an electric type, so I decided to keep it. You could see the stats for Flaaffy. Here, the special attack and the special defense, as well as the HP, have significantly increased. So you can see that Flaaffy is kind of a sponge, a damage sponge, with high special attack and high special defense. Now, with my Paldean version of Flaaffy, I again did the same thing I did with Mareep. I tried different style horns, I tried different style wool patterns, and I think I really settled on a great wool pattern. I'm constantly being inspired by One Piece. I'm realizing the whole cloud concept, Nika, and then we have Sanji with his curly eyebrows, and it just somehow made it into my Flaaffy's design, where the wool is kind of right over Flaaffy's eyes, making it seem like it's constantly taking a nap. You can also see in the bottom right of the image, there's a Flaaffy dive bombing into a Pokemon. I don't know where this concept came from in my head, but I just started drawing it, like diving, and then I decided, why not just draw all the wool just like popping off of it? And this will actually be used in my Flaaffy's description. So without further ado, let me introduce you to Paldean Flaaffy. Fully comfortable with flight, Flaaffy often dozes off due to the wool covering its eyes. Late into their shedding cycle, they could float too high and are often struck by lightning. This causes them to come crashing down on unsuspecting victims. So as you can tell by that description, Flaaffy kind of gets itself into a lot of trouble. It's still a pure flying type. It is the Cloud Pokemon. Its main ability is Fur Coat, but I changed its hidden ability for Lightning Rod. I found this really funny and thought that it would pair really well with its description. And also, I feel like its horns do kind of look like two big antennas. Obviously, it's going to weigh a little more, and it's still going to be small. I was looking at the description of Mareep and Flaaffy, and there isn't a big height difference between the two, fun fact. So I decided to keep that the same. And as you can see for the stats, again, this version of Flaaffy is a little faster. It has lower special attack, but has higher attack. And also, I took away from its defense because of that Fur Coat ability. I feel like it won't be missing that too much. This version of Flaaffy evolves at level 15 from Mareep, just like its Jotonian counterpart. And again, I decided to make it shiny, an homage back to the Jotonian Flaaffy, where its skin is pink, and I decided to keep those beautiful yellow/golden horns and hooves, just because I think it looks really cool and I love the color palette. I'm not gonna lie to you, I think Flaaffy is my favorite in this evolutionary line. I love that it just looks like it's dozing off. I love the pink, the brown, the off-white. Actually, it kind of reminds me of a Neapolitan ice cream now, and that was completely unexpected. The horns even look like ice cream cones. Oh my goodness, I didn't notice that until just now. Comment down below ice cream if Flaaffy is also your favorite. Now moving on to the final evolution of Flaaffy, Ampharos. Now, Ampharos is really based on electricity and light, and that won't represent my evolution too well, so now's the time I change the name. Ampharos comes from three word particles. I didn't know the last one, actually, but the first one is an ampere, which is a unit of electrical current. Pharos, which is the Greek word for lighthouse. And lastly, Pharaoh, which is an ancient Egyptian ruler. I did not know that was a part of its name. But anyway, you can see by its stats that the HP, special attack, and special defense again have really gotten much higher. The defense is pretty close to the special defense actually, so Flaaffy is quite the damage sponge, as I said before with Flaaffy, but now you can really see that. And sadly, Ampharos really does suffer from bad speed. It is one of my favorite electric Pokemon. That and Chinchou, actually, are two of my, well, maybe not top two electric Pokemon, but they're definitely up there. But yeah, these speed stats need to be fixed, which is why in my version I kind of boosted it a bit. So with my version of Paldean Ampharos, I really kind of leaned into the whole dragon theme, at the beginning at least, and I really didn't know what to do with this Pokemon. So I decided to just take it back to what it was in Flaaffy, where its wool has gotten so, not dense, but it's gotten so fluffy that so much air is trapped inside, it kind of acts as like a blimp. So now this Paldean Ampharos can freely float around and just enjoy the skies. I also debated whether or not I should keep the Kirin horns or if I should do like a sort of coiled horn. And drawing these horns was really challenging because I didn't know what direction to put them in. And I decided to make this version of Ampharos kind of like a menace in the sky, and you'll see why in its description. Now, without further ado, let me introduce you to Nimlanaa. Now, you might be wondering, where does that name come from? And I'll tell you, that's a great question. It comes from three particles, the first being nim, which comes from the word nimbus, lana, which is the Spanish word for wool, and I also added the double A at the end just to harken back to Flaaffy, where its name also has a double A because sheep's ba. No clouds are visible when Nimlanaa are around. Researchers state they blow the clouds away to better see their prey. When Nimlanaa are seen near beaches, people flock to enjoy the sun, but bring berries to avoid being attacked. So, as you can see, with a description like that, Nimlanaa is quite the menace in the sky. And just a little fun fact if you've made it this far in the video, but its description is reminiscent to my time in Spain because the city that I stayed in, Marbella, was essentially a very, very special climate due to its positioning geographically between a mountain and the ocean. It was gifted with not having any rain essentially for most of the year. It would only rain, I believe, for a maximum of 2 months in that area, so about like 40 to 60 days. And for my Paldean version, I wanted to make up the excuse that, oh, the reason why there are no clouds is because we have Nimlanaa blowing all the clouds away, making it always beautiful in this region in the south of Paldea. And I wanted to share the weight, which is about 181 pounds, fairly light for a beast that's about 3 meters or about 10 feet. And the way to evolve Flaaffy into Nimlanaa is just level it up to level 34. Originally, I wanted to make Nimlanaa a flying dragon type, but I feel like we have too many of those. So I decided not to make it a dragon type, but hey, maybe in the future I will revisit this Pokemon and I will give it a Mega Evolution or a Gigantamax form or something crazy like that. But finally, I will describe its shiny real quick. So I decided to make its wool look like dark storm clouds, and I made its skin purple again to harken back to Jotonian Ampharos. Or I guess it's just Ampharos, right? And I kept its golden horns again just to show off that its hidden ability is Lightning Rod, and you cannot hurt this Pokemon with electric attacks. So that pretty much does it for this little series. Thank you so much for watching, and if you watched it the entire length, I truly appreciate it. Remember to leave a like if you liked it, and comment down below which stage was your favorite. I think I've already made it clear my favorite was Flaaffy, but Nimlanaa is a very, very close second. With that, I'll catch you guys later. See ya.